At 30 years old, I walked away from flipping houses, my education business, and day-to-day sales calls to start a real estate fund. And in this video, I'm going to be going over why I did this at 30 years old. If you don't know who I am, my name's Antoine. I've been investing flipping houses for the last 10 years. I've done close to 1,000 units, single family and apartment buildings combined, all across the Midwest over the last decade. And in this video, I kind of want to share my reasoning for starting the real estate fund, why I walked away from flipping houses, why I walked away and kind of scaled down my education business, which was making me $300,000 a month in profit, in take home. $300,000 a month in take-home income from just my education business. Why I walked away from all of that to start a real estate fund. And this was not a light decision. I built this flipping business, ran the coaching company, and I had sales and systems and revenue. But I knew that if I wanted to build real wealth, legacy, and leverage, I had to play a different game. And so I want to go over in this video the shift that I made, why the real estate fund model is the business that I'm going to be running for the next 30 years, and why I think you should do the same. In this video, we're going to go over why I started with flipping houses, why I built an education business around the flipping houses business, and then why I started a real estate fund at 30, what I gained, my message to you, and then we'll finish it up. Before we get into the video though, 90% of you guys who are watching are not subscribed. So if you're thinking long-term with your money or business, tap that button below. Please subscribe to the channel to get more and more content like this. And then like the video to show me that you enjoy content like this as well. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So first, why did I start with flipping houses? I got started flipping houses because it was fast, it was profitable, and I can control it. And it didn't take much capital. Me and my dad started flipping houses with 40,000 bucks. Right? And then, my brother joined the business, my mother joined the business, it became a family business. And at one point we were flipping 50 houses a month across the Midwest. That was our biggest record month ever. I think it was like 37, 40, and then we hit 50. And then it went to 40 and 30, went down after that. But our biggest month ever, we bought and sold 50 houses in a single month. We had 25 employees. This company is Martel Turnkey. It's still around today. We had a full team, system, spreadsheet. But the problem with this business and why we scaled it down to where it is today, which today it's more like 3 to 5 deals per month, is that it didn't scale without my time. It was very, very transactional, and every month started at zero because you were buying the asset, renovating it, renting it out, and selling it. Right? You had no leverage over time. It was just the amount of hours and the amount of brute force that you put into it, just more work, more risk, and then more money you made, right? Which is great when you're getting started. When you don't have much money, that's the only freaking option, to be honest, is to put more time in, put more money in to make more money. But you have to risk your own capital. You don't get any long-term leverage of if I buy this asset, I make money for the next 5 years, 10 years, right? It was really like a business that, as it says in the next line, a business that owned me. I didn't really own a business. It wasn't really a business. It was more of like a job. And when I got out of college, I didn't really want to work. And I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work for somebody else, and I didn't want a job. But I feel like when you're getting started, you have to kind of do a lot of these transactional kind of businesses in order to just make money. And the house flipping business, I made a lot of money. We learned so much, how to find assets, how to renovate them, how to build teams on the ground, how to choose the right market, choose the right neighborhood, choose the right street, how to get funding, financing, raising money, right? We've raised so much money for that business where people could partner up with us to flip houses, all this kind of stuff. We learned about the rules with the SEC and all this different kind of stuff that allowed me to start the educational business. And the reason why I transitioned from flipping my own houses to teaching other people was really just like a margin thing. So for example, I say this all the time, but when I was flipping 50 houses a month, I made more money in my dorm room when I bought 5 houses with me and my dad. I made more money during that time than what I did with 25 full-time employees, full teams on the ground, raising capital from family offices to go and buy 50 houses in a single month. I made more money, just me and my dad, with no expenses, just me and him putting in the brute force effort, than 50 houses in a single month. And you might be like, why is that? The reason why is because the house flipping business and the real estate business is a marketplace, right? So as you do more volume, you don't get a lower cost. So if someone is selling a property, it doesn't matter if you've bought 1,000 houses or this is your first deal. The market is the market, and the market's going to dictate the price. It's not like a socks, like I'm making socks or shoes, or the more socks and shoes that I make, the better margin I get, and I get to make a larger order with my manufacturer in China, and now it's like at $1 per unit instead of $3 per unit, right? So there is no like economies of scale with the house flipping business, and the margin is already super low. Like you're at like a 5 to 15% margin after everything, like after all the employees and all that kind of stuff. I think we calculated it like when we were doing 50 houses in a single month. And by the way, 50 houses in a single month, right? 50 houses times $15,000 that's $750,000 in profit. Our margin, like net margin after all of that, was more like 5%. Of the sales price. So 5% of the sales price was like our net margin after everything. So if you sold like 50 houses for 120, right, you would only make like 5% of that. You would make like $300,000 in profit. And I was like, holy shit, this is insane. And I was like, what if I just like taught people how to do this, right? $300,000 if I need to make that. What if I just taught people how to do this? And let's say like $300,000 a month is what I need to make. What if I just charge like 30 grand? Whoa, I only need 10 people to pay me 30 grand on a monthly basis, and then it's all pure profit, and I don't need to have it. I close 10 people. I don't need that many employees. I don't need this. I don't need that. So that was the main reasoning for starting an education business. I had so much experience in this business, in this niche, and I really just like got burnt out with the house flipping. And I was like, what if I can transition my skill set and teach other people how to do the same, but make it more of a recurring revenue model? And so it was something I just tested on the side. Like I'm a very much a like fire aim. Like I'll just shoot the gun before I aim, right? And so that's exactly what I did with the education business. I just took the shot, started the website, started running ads, started posting on Instagram just to see what the kind of traction would be for this business. And it did insane. Like I think the first couple weeks of just like posting on Instagram, having a couple sales calls, I got a $50,000 wire. A couple weeks later, I got a $10,000 wire, then a $20,000 wire. And I was like, holy shit, this is like an insane business. Because for me before, the cash cycle was like you buy the house, you spend money on the renovations, and then in 6 months you're going to get paid. But you have to pay interest on that money that you raised in order to do that deal, right? So your cash cycle is like 6 months from money out to money coming back in, maybe 9 months even, right? So let's just say it's 6 months. For this business, I spend some money on ads. My cash conversion cycle was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I didn't have to raise any money. So it wasn't cash intensive. I can just put money on a credit card. Before I have to pay off that credit card, I get the money from the sale that I can pay off my credit card. So my cash conversion cycle is pretty much nothing. I can scale the business indefinitely so long as the sales were converting. So long as the sales were converting. So long as the sales. That's what became the demise of the business. So when I first started the education business, which is called Flip System, it's still around today. We've again just scaled it back, scaled it down. I'm not really part of the day-to-day, but well, I guess I am part of the day-to-day, but more behind the scenes, more of like a board of directors with me and my family. Right, so that business did really well. We helped thousands of people invest in real estate. It became a 7-figure business too. We were making, at its height, we were making $300,000-$400,000 a month in profit. We were doing over $1 million a month in cash collected. We built a custom software. There's an app on the App Store. Like we spent a lot of money on this bloody thing. We built a full network of team on the ground. We had a full client success team. At one point, we were 60 employees. It was fucking crazy. But the truth is that with an education business, and I think the last 12, 24 months, you've seen a lot of guys talk about this, but the last 12, 24 months with the education business, it's been really tough. There's been a lot of lack of trust with investing in gurus, paying for courses, education. People have been tight on their money because they're worried about losing their job and interest rates and this thing and that thing. And the other problem with this business is you have to keep selling to survive, because we were charged like $15,000 to join Flip System, and it was a 2-year program, and then it was $197 a month. But the $197 a month just isn't enough to get you to a certain point where the business is worth a shitload of money that you can sell it. You kind of need to have a little bit more cash, or just go like super, super broad and just have like thousands of, tens of thousands of people. We had probably like 1,500 people sign up for Flip System the last couple of years. But let's say just half of those people are still on with us and still paying. It's not that many people. 700 people paying you $200 a month. It's good money coming in, but it's not like, oh wow, this business is worth $25 million. It's nothing close to that. And that's where most of the value of this business comes. And I didn't really like that. I didn't like that I had to keep running ads. At one point, we were spending like $300,000 a month on ads to make that $1.2 million in cash collected, $1.1 million in cash collected. And so I didn't really like the risk of like all your eggs are really relying on your sales team. If your sales team didn't sell that month, you were kind of fucked. Like you spent $300,000 in ads. You have to keep the ads going because that's the engine for the business. And then you have 60 employees who pretty much their whole livelihood is based on these like 10, 15, 20 salespeople that you have. And if the salespeople have a bad month or 3 of them go on vacation, 30% of your sales team is gone. Your sales are down 30%. Your sales is down 30%. Your margin's only 40% or 25%. You're losing money that month because 3 people took vacation. I just didn't like it. It also just didn't build equity. It was just revenue. The client lifecycle was short, even with great results. And I feel like I was just like in this sales machine. And trust me, I like sales. I'm a natural like sales guy, salesperson, but it just wasn't the right thing for me. Like I like sales, but I don't like when people have to spend so much money to get the result that they're looking for. And so as we went from 50 employees to 30 employees to 20 to now we're at like 15, I really looked at the business hard and was like, do I want to scale this back up? What do I want to do with it? Where do I want to scale it? How can I use this business and leverage it to help people make more money? So we changed a lot of things with the business model in order to make it more valuable for the end user. And then also just to reduce the overhead, the burden, the risk, but still provide a really, really great product. So both of these companies, Martel Turnkey and Flip System, still around today, still selling. But I knew that at that point, when I scaled down Flip System, that I wanted to start something a little bit different. And I was talking with my dad, talking with Hayato, who's my business partner, also talking with Evan, who's another business partner of mine. At this time, my title company shut down too. So I kind of had like all these kind of things like really starting to slow down. And I was like, all right, what? I feel like I'm in the wrong boat. Like if I took, because Flip System took a lot of life out of me. Like I was working on that business 14 hours a day. My girlfriend wanted to kill me because I was so stressed out with the business and the sales team and all that kind of stuff. And I was spending so much money every single month to just try to keep that thing afloat. Because I had 60 employees on the line that I wanted to take care of and wanted to make sure that they didn't feel some type of way about what was going on, right? So I didn't even take a vacation, didn't go on a trip because I just felt guilty about like, people are getting let go or have to get let go, and I'm like on vacation. So like I didn't do anything. I didn't take a fucking day off for 2 years. I know, boohoo me, but didn't take a day off for fucking 2 years just to make sure that these people were like good and safe. And just so I can say I tried fucking everything that I did, and I tried every fucking thing that I did to save that business. But I think, and there's a whole other video about why like I think the real estate education or just education space in general has kind of changed the landscape over the last 24 months. The high ticket shit, the TLDR of it, high ticket stuff, 15K plus to me is high ticket. It just doesn't work anymore. You really got to be in the like 2 to 5K kind of range as like an entryway in, just for people to dip their toe in the water. So my 2 cents. But I started looking at what is the biggest boat that I can get in? Like if I want to be a billionaire or want to have $1 billion business, I'm not going to get there with Flip System. I'm not going to get there with Martel Turnkey. What business would actually allow me to get there? And I realized that if I could flip 50 houses a month, if I could help others do it too, why not raise the capital and buy the assets myself at scale and hold them? And kind of in this year, 2025, when I'm making this video, there has been a great shift in the multifamily real estate market. I've done multifamily buildings in the past. 2018, 2019, and 2020 is when I bought some apartment buildings. And those apartment buildings were amazing. I made a 200% return on my money, IRR, actually. So I made a 4 to 5x return on my money. And it was insane. I made a shitload of money doing those deals. After that, post 2020, when the interest rates went sky high, nobody wanted to sell their buildings, and also the numbers didn't really make sense. This year, a lot of those people, because of balloon loans and balloon payments, are going to have to refinance or sell those assets. So now, because those people are going to have to sell their assets, it's a great time to go in and buy. And so that's why I started Red Brick Equity. Also with Flip System, I learned that a lot of people in this country make a lot of money. They don't want to buy something. They want to partner up with people. They want you to have some skin in the game. And so Like our biggest objection with Flip System is, can you just take the money from the sale? Can you partner up with me? Like I want to do this deal together with Antoine or with you guys or whatever. And we're like, no, pay us 15K. No, pay us 15K. No, pay us 15K. And I think that really like sunk in. It's like people don't want to buy a product, especially when there's lack of trust. It's like they don't want to buy a product. It's like, hey, Billy, you're buying this building? Great, I'll partner up with you. Cool. Like, and they want to partner up. They want to be a part of like a community that goes out there and does something and be a part of that. And then for that, they're willing to invest $25,000, $50,000 into their like into you, and they'll easily write a $50K check for that versus like spending $10,000 to $15,000 on themselves. Because that's the other thing. People don't want to spend money. People don't want to bet on themselves. They'd rather bet on somebody else, especially if they have a full-time job, they have kids, they have whatever. They don't want to add more fucking pressure to their lives. They'd rather write a $50,000 check for somebody else than a $5,000 check to themselves. I have a higher close rate closing people to join real estate red brick equity, where our average check is $75,000, versus what we do at Martel Turnkey and at Flip System. Think about that for a second. Like, it's insane. The amount of people that will write that $75,000 check is higher than the people that will write a $5,000 check to invest on themselves. This is all what I learned after starting the fund. But pretty much the purpose of the fund is that I knew that multifamily inventory was coming. I knew that I can get some good interest rates. And I knew that I had the teams on the ground and the local expertise in the Midwest. And what I realized is that the 20 to 100 unit range is kind of like no man's land. The house flippers don't want to buy them. They don't have enough capital, expertise. The big boys only want to buy 150 plus units. So the 20 to 100 unit kind of range in the Midwest is really, really untouched and untapped. And that allows us to go in and buy these houses, buy these apartment buildings. And, eventually we can pool them together and sell them to a large hedge fund. We can just hold them and refinance them and grow a large portfolio. So now we're buying this workforce apartment buildings in overlooked cities. We renovate, stabilize, and hold. We raise money from investors, and we split the equity. And we give people a real shot at passive wealth and not just a coaching product. And starting the fund, the benefit to me is that it gives me long-term equity instead of one-time fees. Instead of making 15K, I actually own 20, 30, 40, 50% of this apartment building, and my clients or my partners get to own the rest of it. Like, if you're an accredited investor and you want to invest in real estate alongside me, click the link down below in the description, but you do have to be an accredited investor, which means you have to make over 200 grand a year, 300 grand if you are married, or have $1 million net worth. And the real estate fund is great because I use and leverage other people's money to go buy these buildings. We're able to get 70 to 80% loan to values. And we partner up together. Like, we both make money. It's like the perfect win-win. I'm also investing into every single deal, so I have some skin in the game. It's like all of the things around, like what I've learned from Flip System and Martel Turnkey, and now with a real estate fund, it's like it is the perfect like sales pitch. Because like you get to partner up with me, get to partner with the founder, get to meet the founder. The founder's investing in the deal. The founder already has the deal. He only makes money if you make money. It's like the perfect kind of like product, right? And everybody wants to be a part of it. Also, it's just way more freeing. Like we go find a building, we get the building under contract, we raise the money in a couple of weeks. Yes, we still have to spend ads. Yes, I'm in New York this week meeting with tons of people to raise money for a deal, but it's, I know that we're going to do an amazing job with these buildings and managing them. And when we do, we're going to get so many referrals from so many people because there's not many people doing this because it is a difficult business. You have to learn how to raise money, learn how to find the deals, underwrite the deals, get the financing, build a property management team. But to me, that's the easy stuff. The hard stuff for me was like, how do I get a new customer to pay me 15K every single day? With all this stuff changing in the economy, it just wasn't happening. So my message to you, whether you're flipping, coaching, wholesaling, it's all a stage. But if you want legacy, scale, and you want wealth that lasts longer than you do, build something you can own forever. That's why I started a real estate fund at 30. My 20s were really just for like learning as much as I fucking possibly could. And I learned a lot. And I made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of fucking money. But I think the most important thing is now I have a skill set that nobody can take away from me. I know how to run ads, know how to raise money, know how to find deals. I know how to partner up with other people in a legal way that's, above board with the SEC. There's all these things that I've learned how to do over the last 10 years, which now this real estate fund can get me to a billionaire status. I can have $1 billion assets under management. And it's not by buying 300-unit apartment buildings in A-class locations. It's by buying 20 to 100-unit affordable apartment buildings for workforce housing, B and C class neighborhoods. That's the kind of deals that we are buying, and we're going to get to a couple thousand units over the next couple of years. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. I want to learn what stage you're in. Flipping, coaching, investing, like what are you doing? What are you doing with your money? If you like this video, please give it a like. Please comment down below that you watched the full video, and please make sure to subscribe. I'm documenting the real journey. If you guys do like this video and talk more about the real estate fund, I know it's going to not get as many views and not be too popular because it's so niche, but if you do like this kind of content, please, please, please like it or comment down below to tell me that you do like it. That helps me know to make more videos like this. Sweet. Thanks for staying till the end. See you on the next one.